Hey, what's going on, guys? Team Fusion here, back with another video. Now, in today's video, I've got my Geargia deck. Now, like most decks that I own, I really enjoy playing this deck. Geargia's maybe just up there for one of my favorite decks just ever. And if I'm being completely honest, this is just two Geargia Rampage structure decks that I've slowly edited over time. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off, I run 3 Geargia Armor. This is one of the more important cards in this deck. He is your search. So his effect is you can flip him face down into defense mode, and when he's flipped face up, you can add a Geargia monster from your deck to your hand, which is pretty useful. He also has 1900 defense, which is also pretty nice. Probably one of the best cards in this deck. I run 3 Geargia Accelerator. Straight up, if you have a Geargia monster out in the field, special summon him from your hand. This is not once per turn, so if you got multiple in your hand, you can just spec them all. Easy for an XC summon. I run 3 Yugioh Mark II. Kind of like your Goblinberg for the deck. When he's normal summoned, you can special summon a Geargia monster from your hand or graveyard. Having that graveyard option always comes in handy. For now, I run 2 Geargia Arsenal. I recommend bumping him up to 3. The only reason he's not at 3 right now is because I don't own 3 copies. As I said, this is a 2 Geargia Rampage structure decks that I've put together. Gains 200 for each Geargia monster you control, including himself. You can also tribute him to summon a Geargia monster from your deck, which can be really useful. I run 2 copies of Geargia Augur. Another card I recommend bumping up to 3. Again, he's not at 3 right now because I don't own 3 copies. So when he's summoned, you can add a Geargia monster from your deck to your hand. Pretty sure it's just level 4 machine. But the cost is you can only special summon machine monsters for the rest of this turn, and you can't attack. Which, like, the only downside is that you can't attack because the machine part's not an issue. I run 2 Geargia Attacker. 1900 attack. You can kind of the same effect as Geargia Armor when you flip him face down, but when he's flipped face up, you can destroy spells or traps equal to how many Geargias you just have out on the field, which back row destruction is always nice. Now, just getting into the last bit of 2 ofs, I run 2 copies of Geargiano and Geargiano Mark III. When he's summoned, do the effect of a Geargia card. You can summon another Geargia from your hand or graveyard, but it locks you into only being able to summon Geargias for the rest of this turn. He has a similar effect to Geargia Arsenal, where you can tribute him and summon a Geargia from your graveyard, or just machine from your graveyard, but its effects are negated. One of my favorite things to do is just summon Mark II summons 3 summons the original, then just overlay for the boss monster of the deck. Now, only a few one-ofs. I run 1 Geargia Anchor, kind of the same thing as the attacker, but when he's flipped face up, you destroy monsters instead of spells and traps. I run 1 Silver Gadget, like the Goblinberg for this deck. When he's summoned, you can summon a level 4 machine monster from your hand. And 1 Tin Goldfish, kind of the same thing as here, but doesn't restrict you to only level 4 monsters. Alright, I run, as this is a machine deck, 2 Limiter Removal, kind of self-explanatory. Doubles the attack points of machines, but unfortunately they're just right at the end of the turn. I run 2 Iron Call. Really good idea to bump this up to 3. If you control a machine monster, you can special summon a level 4 lower machine from your graveyard, but it's just right at the end of the turn. Also, its effects are negated. Really, really helpful. Another card I may bump up to 3, I only run 2 Iron Draw. If you only control 2 machine monsters and no other monsters, you can just draw 2 cards from your deck. Draw power is always good. I run 1 Geargia Change. You can special summon up to 3 Geargiano monsters from your graveyard with different names, and immediately after the effect resolves, XC summon with them. So if you got 3 in your graveyard, you can summon the boss monster of this deck, which really useful. Getting to the last few one-ofs, I run 1 double summon. Like the name says, it allows you to normal summon twice. One Monster Reborn, kind of just a staple in any deck. Mystical Space Typhoon for spell and trap destruction. And Dark Hole for whatever destruction. Wrapping up these spells here, I run one Book of Moon. Kind of useful because you can also use it on your own monsters. So like a Geargia monster. Flip the face back up. You know, its effect activates. And wrapping up the spells, I run one Regeki. Dare I say more? Alright. Getting into the traps now, I run 2 Geargia Gear. Might bump this up to 3. 2 is fine. So you can special summon 2 Geargianos from your deck, and their levels increase by 1, so you can use it for the rank 4s we run in this deck. Just as a little bit of recycling, I run 1 Jar of Avarice. Shuffle 5 cards back into your deck, and then draw 1 card. Pretty good for recycling things. Wrapping up the traps, I run 1 Threatening Roar. May end up taking this out. Strip just locks your opponent out of the battle phase for 1 turn. And for some negation, I run 1 Divine Wrath. Discard a guard, negate a monster effect, and Wiretap, which negates a trap card, and shovels it back to the deck. Pretty good. Now, entering the extra deck, I run 3 Geargia X. Your search for the deck requires 2 level 4 machines. Detach 1 material, and then add a level 4 machine from your deck to your hand, which is really useful. Plus, when it's destroyed, you can summon a level 3 Lord Geargia monster from your graveyard, which is only the Geargianos. I run 1 Geargia Gear, Gigan XG. This is the boss monster I was talking about. Requires 3 level 3 machines. So when I was talking about the summon Mark II summons Mark III summons the original, then just overlay him for this guy. When he attacks, you can get rid of an overlay unit, and your opponent basically can't do anything for that 1 battle. And it's not just for him. If any machine you have attacks, you can use an overlay unit, and basically this thing becomes an Ancient Gear. Or the attacking monster becomes an Ancient Gear. I run 1 Wind Up Zen Mains and Zen Maester. Just as a good rank 3 option. If he would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can get rid of an overlay unit instead. And if you use the effect that turn during the end phase, you can destroy a card on the field. Now, Zen Maester has a really useful effect. You can target 1 monster you control face down, and then at the end of the turn, it gets flipped face up again, which means if it's a Geargia monster like Armor, its effect can activate, allowing you to do something. I run 1 Heavy Armor Train Iron Wolf. Iron Wolf allows you to get rid of an overlay unit and then attack directly with 1 of your machine monsters, but no other monsters can attack. And when he's destroyed, you can search a level 4 machine. Pretty useful. I run 1 number 27 Dreadnought Dreadnoid. Really useful when he destroys a monster by battle. During the end of the battle phase, you can use him to summon a rank 10 machine, which I run 2 of. I run 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. 3,000 attack, burns your opponent for 2,000. Really, really useful. And for more back row destruction, I run Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy Destroyer. Get rid of an overlay unit, destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls, and you can't do anything in response, which that alone is really useful. Not to mention, it has 5,000 attack. You know, combo that with Iron Wolf. Now, just as another rank 3 option, I just run 1 Super Quantum Mech Beast Grand Pulse. Spell and trap destruction, plus he has 2,800 defense, and he's another rank 3 option. Now, leaving the Machine Xyz monsters, I run 1 copy of Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Just a really good generic rank 4 Xyz monster. Get rid of 2 overlay units, add the attack points of a monster your opponent controls, and then gain the attack. The attack change is permanent, which is really useful. And last, for more back row destruction, I run the 1 Tornado Dragon. Just get rid of an overlay unit, destroy a spell or trap on the field. Now, this is a quick play effect, so you can use it on your opponent's turn, which is pretty useful. And wrapping it up, I just run 1 Castel the Sky Blaster Musketeer. I never really go into him. He's really useful, but I never really need him. Alright. Now that was my Geargia Deck Profile. Again, I really love using this deck. This deck is really, really fun. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload. And why not just throw a comment down below in the comment section? I may respond. Alright, guys. Bye.